Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Speaker, I beg your indulgence so I can read a piece of an article that was featured in today's newspaper.
All right.
And I quote, "No person should be allowed to live in poverty while others prosper. No person should be allowed to exploit other people for economic gain. This disparity affects not only the legitimacy of our democracy, as those with wealth are able to use the system to their advantage, but it further disgraces the very essence of what it means to be human. We are all equal, and we all deserve to be treated as such. None of us exist alone. We depend on each other to survive. Therefore, all of our success, just as our failures, must be shared together as one society, as one people. As a result, each and every one of us has the responsibility to repair the injustice of the past and present and fight for equality, especially economic equality of all." That was from a young Mr. Critchlow, a young member of our society who is doing awesome things in terms of charity and representing the ethos of social justice. Mr. Speaker, would you allow me to read another clip from the World Gazette?
Provide is brief, yeah.
And it reads, "When we gave minimum wage, we didn't just give it to Bermudians, we gave it to foreigners too. And they send their money home. That was the dumbest thing I have ever heard of." From a national hero, Sir John Swan. You see, Mr. Speaker, the difference between a young Bermudian in our society and the way he is thinking, and the elder statesman of our society, which thinks in the way of the past. It seems as though it is fine to economically exploit workers for the economic gains of others. How could anyone support an individual in this day and age with that mindset? Especially when we think of how far we've came in Bermuda. How far we've came on the spectrum of ensuring that there is equality in Bermuda. You see, the individual may be a national hero, but those comments are troubling and shameful. The other thing that is proven to be a reality is when Sir John Swan entered the race, he has doubled down on his position that he has no favor for the Progressive Labor Party, but he has also instituted a new position, which is he has no confidence in the One Bermuda Alliance and what they represent. And I have been canvassing, and the reception on the doorstep has been relatively favorable. But I did meet an individual who said the PLP is doing a lot of good work, but we need an opposition. Mr. Speaker, we need individuals with the right mindset, individuals that support equality, individuals that support labor protections, social justice, social protections, individuals that are committed to ensuring that we have the best policies in place for the people of this country so we can progress society. Opposition for opposition's sake simply is not good enough for 21st century politics. Diversity for diversity's sake is simply not good enough. We need people with the right minds and the right hearts. And that's why I fully support Senator Simmons, former Senator Simmons. She has demonstrated that her heart is in the right place. She has demonstrated through her actions that she cares about the youth of our community. To the extent she brings young people into her home so that she can raise those individuals and provide them the support they need to develop into productive members of our society. That is the mindset, the heart that we need. Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader can paint a rosy picture of their candidate, Mr. King. But Mr. King will be attached to a vassal, a party that has demonstrated that it simply does not care. And they had an opportunity in government. They have a few records, like the shortest serving premier ever. And they have records as it pertains to the highest level of labor disputes in a 5-year period in Bermuda's history. Mr. Speaker, when the OPA was in power, you had people marching up and down Bermuda, crying for equality, crying for jobs, crying for justice. Thousands of persons marching. You had public servants marching against the opposition because they wanted to continue with salary cuts after public service ably assisted them with furlough days. A lack of integrity was demonstrated through their period in Parliament. PLP is the party for youth. We are the party for workers. We are the party for seniors, and we've demonstrated that. Minister Darrell rolled out a scheme today which would increase summer employment opportunities for over 800 additional kids. We have expanded child daycare allowance so hundreds of families can benefit. We have extended labor rights in Bermuda. We have extended social protections. We have supported our seniors. We have increased the pension that our seniors receive. You see, all of this is part of our social justice ethos. All of this is a fabric of who we are as the Progressive Labour Party. An individual from the other side of the aisle said, but our people are leaving. Well, Mr. Speaker, I recall in 2016 standing at a Labor Day and giving a speech regarding our people leaving, regarding the conditions that workers were in at that time, regarding our alarming unemployment rates that were in Bermuda. We now have an unemployment rate that is 2.5%, the lowest since 1980. Can the OBA find an unemployment rate during their time that was even under 5%? They can't. And so while it's easy, like MP Kane says, to point fingers and criticize, the opposition leader can stand to his feet and says, Mr. King has been integral in the policy work that we do within the party. What policies? Mr. Speaker, the OBA has brought nothing to the table. They have brought no solutions for us to implement. They refuse to work in a bipartisan way on a multiple number of initiatives. They brought no bills to the House of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, if somebody wants to make a meaningful contribution to Bermuda and progress Bermuda, the best option is for them to be part of the Progressive Labour Party. This is the party where we have a group of people that meet every Monday to talk about how we can make Bermuda a better place. This is the party where we have individuals meeting every Wednesday to discuss policy and talk about how we can make Bermuda a better place. This is the party that is out on the doorstep, knocking on doors in every community, not just the community that the by-election has been called in. This is the party that has consistent constituency clinics on a weekly basis. This is the party the OBA is trying to emulate when they begin to have their clinics and things of that nature. And it is true. The opposition says, yes, trying to be like you. And it is correct. Scott Pierman wants to be where I currently am. He wants to be running a country. But, Mr. Speaker, it takes more than want and wishes. It takes work. It takes connecting with the people. It takes putting initiatives in place that will secure you the vote in the next election. Mr. Speaker, I have 6 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. If I started to go through all the positive things that my ministry and this government has done, I'll run out of time. I would run out of time because there is a plethora of things that we can stand behind. There are a plethora of things that we can be proud about. Mr. Speaker, we were told that the Progressive Labour Party can't manage the economy. The economy is doing extremely well. And the rating agencies have doubled down on their position as it pertains to our governance, our policy work, and our plans for the future. I'm in meetings now. Talking to individuals who have plans to expand their operations in this country. You see, we have a business ecosystem that is allowing businesses to thrive. Whether the opposition likes it or not, that is the facts, that is the reality. And we know as a party we have more to do. And we're committed to doing it. We want healthcare which is accessible and affordable for all. And we're making minimal steps to get there. We want to ensure our education system puts persons on pathways to success at an earlier age. And that's why we're going through the task of reforming our education system. We understand the cost of living is high. That's why we're going through efforts to amend our tax system to ensure that persons increase their purchasing power. Mr. Speaker, elections matter. As I walk this community, people are proud of the work that the Progressive Labor Party has been doing. Are we perfect? No. And our constituents remind us that we're not. And they identify where we can improve, where we can progress. And we take on those considerations. And they form part of our work plan for the next fiscal period or the next year. We understand that persons are having challenges with housing. And we're working on plans as to how we expand our housing inventory. When challenges are raised, it is the government's responsibility to be responsive to those challenges. And Mr. Speaker, we have, and will continue to be. There is no doubt in my mind that when the Progressive Labor Party formed over 60 years ago, it had a vision for not only political leadership, but how the country would need to progress. The aims of the Constitution then are the aims of our Constitution now. We have never wavered from our aims. We have never tried to remodel ourselves or rebrand ourselves or remake ourselves into something we're not. We have remained consistent. The fruits of the labor of those that ran in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it is our responsibility as the current set of Progressive Labor MPs to carry on that baton and to bring like-minded individuals along with us for the future so that the Progressive Labor Party can enjoy another 60 years of progress. We've came a long way to get to 30 seats in the House of Assembly. We're going to have to fight to maintain governance. But we know with a strong connection to the community, with putting the right policies in place, with providing the people of this country with a clear vision, they will continue to provide their support for the Progressive Labor Party. They tried the other guys recently, and it simply did not work out in their favor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Minister. Does any